I understand that, but like,
She doesn't need to be cunning. She's got giant tits and a hot face, or she looked okay. So
right.
like that's her. That's how she does it.
But
there's no more to that personality. That's all
okay.
that is necessary. Welcome back, terrestrials. In this episode, we're doing 1996's Head of the Family. It's a full moon features product. Let's just jump into it. Video store totals.
That's
Charles Bland is credited
oh
on the internet as the director, but in the actual credits of the movie, it says somebody else wrote and directed this movie.
no.
The budget, of course, you can't find it. Kills, don't know. Nudity, so much.
Right.
So let's just hop into it. It's going to be a short one. I know Jerry has already hinted at some disdain for this movie. I liked the movie. I thought the movie was good,
Yeah.
but still there's just not a lot to talk about. So
Right.
let's just get into it. Jerry, why do you hate this movie so much?
Why do I hate this movie? I didn't hate it.
Right.
It was just like that 90s kind of like this. Okay, so Arachnophobia is Hallmark horror.
Hmm.
This kind of felt like filmed by the crew that did like Hercules and Xena, and it just had that look
Yeah,
of
that
like
TV movie
that
look.
TV, yeah, the
Yeah.
TV movie look.
Hmm.
Now, another thing that it really was going against the grain was like they talked forever, and there was just like in these long periods of the movie where like nothing was fucking going on. They're trying to they're like tell, don't show, feel to it. Did it make me mad or angry? No, no. Like it just took so long to get to like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing? Okay, okay. It felt kind of like a Goosebumps episode, but with boobs.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I didn't hate on the harshness, or it didn't harsh my mellow so much when there was so much talking.
Okay,
Um, see, so I know that Full Moon Features deals in silly comedy horror movies mostly, but
right.
every once in a while they make something that
Crazy
doesn't
premise.
quite fit into the horror category, even though that's where they're trying to push it, like the Evil Bong movies.
Right.
Um, but this one I just felt didn't hit the horror mark at all. I felt like this was more almost of a thriller, but the talking I didn't mind in this movie because it really, like you said, it talked, didn't show, but I, the talking was good. Like the script was good. The writing was decent.
Okay.
And the acting wasn't bad. Like
Right,
the
right. The acting, I will say, was not bad.
right. I mean, you start out with this biker guy and this blonde girl
Dog
and
the
this
Bounty Hunter.
right, Dog the Bounty Hunter,
I
the
kept calling him
porn
Dog the
star.
Bounty Hunter the whole time.
Okay, Dog the Bounty Hunter, the porn star, and the business owner.
Joe Dirt.
And sure. Um, I didn't get Joe Dirt from the guy. I mean, I guess maybe that might be how Joe Dirt would see himself.
Right.
But that would have never come to my mind. But yeah, these are your three central characters in the beginning.
Right.
Uh, the diner owner and the porn star are banging behind the dog the bounty hunter's back,
Right.
and he's kind of like he almost strong arms this guy
He's an asshole.
into, well,
He's
they're
the
all
classic
assholes. They're
they're
all
all
assholes.
assholes.
There's
Yes.
just
But
it's just different types of assholes.
he's the upfront
um
asshole.
yeah, Dog the Bounty Hunter is the upfront asshole. You got the weaselly, sneaky asshole, and
Asshole.
then the asshole porn star, the just she doesn't love anybody. She just wants somebody to take care of her. Um, but these two end up in business together. He's given somebody a ride home. He notices that this weird roadblock has appeared in the road. It's signaling people to go a certain direction. He investigates lightly, sees that there's a weird, creepy family that is deterring people
Look at this. Some sort of fence or something.
to make them go a certain direction so that they can get a hold of them, take them back to their house, and do weird shit to them. Does that sound like another movie to you, Jerry? Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses ripped this movie off. So we see that take
Yo,
place.
yeah.
And we see that take place. And then this guy decides he's going to extort this family to kill Biker Boy so that he can have porn star and make money off
Right.
this family.
Once he finds out that they're rich.
Right.
That's
Once he,
when.
yes, yes.
But back to the deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite line in it is Joe Dirt walks out of the car and he goes,
Look at this. Some sort of fence or something.
Joe
So,
Dirt.
yeah, Rob Zombie stole this movie. And then
Oh,
you see, like, Byron is the head of the family. You
yes.
meet him and his creepy family, his brothers and sister.
Not really creepy though.
Byron was very likable, honestly. He was very, excuse the phrase, very level headed.
Yeah.
Um, he was very big headed, but he was very level headed. And he was a nice enough person, seemingly. Like,
Right.
yeah, he was doing the weird shit in the basement, but like,
But no, like your Byron comparison. Yeah, he's smart. He's telepathic. Like he
yeah,
can
he
make his
says,
brothers and sisters basically like he's doing what they something.
well, so yeah, I don't know that it's telepathy or telekinesis so much. It's just like a weird connection that he has to him. He says he can hear and see through the guy with the eyes. He uses Otis, weird, another correlation to Devil's Rejects, as the muscle.
Right.
And I'm not sure what the girl served purpose. I think she was just the bait most of the time. I'm not sure.
Sexuality.
Yeah.
No.
But he mentions that he can control them somewhat.
Yes.
That they are free thinking to an extent. Obviously, we see that at the end of the movie, but
Hmm.
he doesn't he doesn't really explain how or why. It's just something that is, and that's it. And they move on through it.
Right.
But we see Joe Dirt try to extort them for money,
Yes. Once he
and
realizes they're rich. Like at
basically
first,
they
it's
would,
just to get rid of asshole boyfriend, Dog the Bounty
right,
Hunter,
right,
get
right.
him out of the picture. So me and whatever her name is,
Loretta,
yeah,
I
Loretta,
think.
yeah. So we can live this happy life,
Hmm.
and that's the original plan. And then he
Hmm.
finds out that they're rich, and he's
Hmm.
like, well, we can get money from them.
Hmm.
And then Byron is basically like, all right, we're coming after you now,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, and Joe Dirt makes, a fairly smart idea of writing down this letter, getting a lawyer,
A lawyer. Right.
mailing it to the lawyer that tells them everything. This is how he's extorting the money. And if he doesn't call this lawyer on a scheduled thing and say a scheduled phrase, that he knows to open it up, report the family, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So he's got the family by the balls essentially at first. And then they find out who the lawyer is, where the lawyer is. They get a hold of him and his girl. Uh
Yeah. They get the lawyer. Okay.
well, yeah,
They attack the lawyer.
right.
Okay. We don't know if they killed him
They
but
absolutely killed him right on screen. They broke his neck.
well, yeah, I know, but it's like, ow, just like,
I don't
this
think that
movie,
that's how that played out,
right?
especially when they leave the office and the lady's legs are up.
Right.
They probably
But
killed her too.
they kill her, and then they're like, ha ha ha, Joe Dirt, we
Yeah.
killed your lawyer. And then Joe Dirt's like, I got a second lawyer
Yeah.
with an envelope, and
Yeah.
that's when they have to it's just like, that's the cartoon shit. That's
Yeah.
like a 5-year-old right there. We killed your lawyer. I got a second lawyer
Well,
too.
okay, but it's also extremely logical.
Right.
Let's say you
Don't
are Joe
put all
Dirt.
your eggs in one basket.
Well, not only that, there's no second fucking lawyer. He's
No.
thinking on his feet, and Byron even says that. You're quick on your feet with your lies,
Right.
but we know there's no second lawyer. And he's like, you really want to, like, he puts the doubt in Byron's head.
Yeah. Because that's why they kidnap what's her face.
Yeah, because they need to get the second lawyer's name.
Yeah.
But that's logical. That's what you would do in that situation. We killed your first lawyer. Well, you didn't get the second one.
Right.
Yeah, we did. Well, you didn't get the third one. You know, you just like keep buying yourself.
Oh, that would have been
time to
great
stay-
if that would have been the plot. We killed the second one. Did you kill the third?
Now,
No.
look, I've heard that there's a sequel to this still in the works.
Yeah. No, it's
So,
out.
Is it?
Yeah. The bride of the head of the family. Which, yeah, oh my God, when he pulled the second lawyer line out, that's when it was just like, it's showtime. Fuck right. Oh man. But then again, this is where the movie's going, where it's not very much carnage, but there's just silly antics. There's just silly antics.
I mean, to be fair, this is a softcore porn that they called a horror movie and put out as a horror movie.
Right. They couldn't like do the effects of the head. That looked cool.
That was great. Those
yeah.
I mean, for the time before CGI, it was still practical. It looked fantastic. And it was hilarious when he threw Byron down the stairs.
Oh my God, so funny.
I died laughing. Like,
Right.
I was like, holy shit. And I rewound it and watched it like 2 more times.
Yeah. But because you don't have as much gore and you're taking that old like fashion horror approach where it's just this family that is misfits, and it's Byron with a big head, and we don't need to like have like a million body pile up kind of deal. Without that, just like maybe 1 or 2 more kind of like gruesome deaths in there, and you got the science experiments down in the basement, that he can control with his mind or something.
I think he tells them what to do and they get the shock collar if they don't listen.
Right.
That's what we see in the Joan of Arc section.
Yeah, the Joan of Arc, where this is a theater play, but I forget his speech there to Joe Dirt at one point. But
I think that the movie did quite a few things right. It obviously, the budget was spent on the big head. So they built a creative story around it. I think that the plot was not a bad plot. I think that the acting was done fairly well. I think that the family, minus Byron, the family was the worst part of the movie. They were just awkward, clunky, like they didn't have any personality, but he only controlled them sometimes. It was very odd. They should have had personality. They should have been more closer to what Rob Zombie did with this movie and made them individually sadistic.
Misfits,
and then he also can get a hold of them and control them.
Right. Not the strong guy has to have fucking like me strong, that kind of thing. It was just like, okay, yeah, but that just having like caveman brain. Yeah. Caveman brain, it doesn't matter,
Right.
Okay, you have the sex appeal girl, but other than how she looks, how is she luring, you know,
Well,
people, and once
I don't
more,
know if you saw what was in her shirt, but I would go anywhere with
I
her.
understand
Like,
that, Jacob. I understand that,
but
but like,
she doesn't need to be cunning. She's got giant tits and a hot face, or she looked okay. So
right.
like that's her. That's how she does it.
But
there's no more to that personality. That's all
okay,
that is necessary.
we will refer back to Rod Zombie. Okay, when baby girl is, trying to get him to go to the house,
Yeah,
she's
she's
flirty.
slutty because her
Yeah, she's
tits aren't as big.
flirty. We'll call it flirty. Okay, she's,
Okay, fine.
but she,
You can call it whatever
she,
you want. Her
you
tits
know,
aren't as big. That's why she had to put effort into the thing.
remember, uh, the hot chocolate. That's what makes it tasty. That he says tasty, and she's like, ain't the only thing tasty in this house, and then
Exactly.
that kind of mentality for her would have been nice, like instead of a roadblock.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, we'll just get assholes that think with their dick
Yeah.
and fucking bring them back to the house. That would have
Right.
given her something more to do in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely use her as a honeypot, like like her character is intended
Mhm.
when she goes and gets Joe Dirt from the hotel.
Right.
But I agree, they should have had some sort of personality.
Yeah.
They were very zombie like. They just kind of stood around and stared.
Dared.
It was very annoying, honestly. But outside of those three, everybody did a pretty good job acting. Even Dog the Bounty Hunter, Joe Dirt, Loretta,
Hmm.
Byron, these main characters, they did a good job with their lines. They
Yeah.
delivered them well. It wasn't outrageously ridiculous. I was actually surprised at how good the acting was for a full moon feature.
Mhm.
Um, Again, the plot was interesting enough to keep me entertained. Like, definitely the nudity helped, but the plot could have stood on its own. It would have been maybe a little bit more taxing to get through, but
Right.
it could have stood on its own.
Definitely. I think with a couple of tweaks here and there, this could definitely
The
be
House of a
like,
Thousand Corpses, I thought
well,
so
even
too.
more
And so
so.
did Rob Zombie.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
why he ripped
He
this movie
ripped this movie
right
off.
this
Yeah.
fuck off.
Like, I kept on thinking of like, okay, he's got a big head. Uh, remember in Hills Have Eyes, the
Mhm,
remake,
mhm,
that guy that's laying in the chair like that.
mhm.
I was like,
That was
oh
creepy as
man,
shit.
that would have been great if they redo this and like it's that type of like big head guy.
Mhm.
And but then again, that's just Hills Have Eyes, basically. Just
Yeah,
same premise.
I think that they could still pull it off if they did it properly, but I think that the idea was his head was big and his body was little. So
Right.
even if you did do that same thing where he's got the big head back like that and he's kind of like leaning back in the chair and you made him have a little body or something, it could still be done. It's just a
Yeah.
hybrid of the two.
Right.
I agree. A few tweaks, call it a Rob Zombie film.
A little bit more like murders,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
we see
It could have,
more,
yeah, we
a
could have
little bit
done
more
more.
blood,
Yeah.
to boost up the horror element in
Mhm.
this. But I mean,
Is this even a horror movie? Is it a horror movie by
I would
genre?
say so. I would say definitely a horror movie, but back in the horror movies of the day of, there are mutants in the basement, and he's a
Yeah, it's
mutant,
a
and
horror comedy.
yeah, it's kind of like that idea of
There's
not a
nothing funny in
slasher.
this movie except for the
Mm,
throwing Byron down the stairs.
right.
But I think that was
Um,
unintentional.
right. Or that Joe Dirt's dies at the end of this movie because he's thinking it was dick.
Yeah.
But uh the idea, the premise of just abnormal family makes it horror
Mhm.
instead of what we know as horror, where bodies are piling up because like House of Thousand Corpses.
I think it's more or less what they're doing in the basement that makes it horror,
That could
not
be
them so much.
that his plan is to global domination or whatever.
Yeah, that was so random. Like,
Yeah.
what? You've made zero strides for global domination.
Little
What the
pinky in the
fuck?
brain.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that that line really just threw me off. He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'd love to grossly lick your nipple again, but I have world domination to take care
This
of."
is,
And it's
I
like,
need to
dude,
dominate the
you're
world.
in
It's like,
bumfuck Florida,
right.
apparently. You're not taking over anything.
Right.
Like, what the hell?
No,
Dude, you
well,
barely
this
got a handle on your house. Otis doesn't really listen to you. Like, what the fuck, dude?
I know. Um,
I think that the level-headedness of Byron was the most intriguing thing, because when you see people with birth defects or a sadistic family like you have in Devil's Rejects, there's no reasoning with them. There's no logic to what they're doing. They just are, and they just do. They're
right.
very animalistic like that. So to have a character it's almost like in Gremlins 2 when there's the one that could talk and he was really intelligent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's intriguing to me to see that idea in a movie like this, because you're kind of you don't expect it. You expect House of a Thousand Corpses. You don't expect somebody to sit there and wheel and deal with somebody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when he's being blackmailed and he's still staying calm and he's like, fine, we'll give you $2,000 a week, blah blah blah. I also thought it was a little weird that the blonde showed up at the hotel with the money, then blew him, then knocked him out.
That was Byron. He was mentally controlling her, like, I wonder what it would be like to be with Joe Dirt there. Fucking, because like that's all I kept thinking about with the acting, Byron acting through,
Yeah.
like it's like, I will seduce him.
Mhm.
This is like what? Oh no, it's like the South Park thing. It's like the South Park thing where the cop dresses up as a hooker
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
like
and he keeps
arrests him.
banging them
Yeah,
after.
after it's like
Yeah.
it's like $50. Okay, let's do this. Freeze.
Yeah.
Is it now? Is it a thrill or a kill, Jacob?
It's thrilling. That's what I was getting ready to say. It's definitely not
Okay.
a kill for me. I found it more on the thrilling side. It was watchable. God damn it. I'm starting
It's
to find,
watchable.
when we get into these full moon features, I feel like there needs to be a middle
A
one. It's
middle.
not thrilling or killing, it's watchable.
Yeah. Didn't we do that
It's
already for
meh.
like not creep as
It's something more recent that I was like, it's
I
not thrilling
remember
or killing. It's just
it's just in the middle.
yeah.
Fucking yeah, it is. It's like, oh, I can see the potential of the movie
Mhm.
and like what somebody else could do with the movie with
Right.
the premise of this.
Right.
But
That
yeah,
person
it's
is
not
Rob Zombie. He
yeah,
stole this movie.
yeah. But this is also not like batshit boring
Right, right,
where
right.
I'm just like fucking kill this off. So
Yeah, yeah.
okay, all right. The cult movie.
I don't think so. I don't feel like this one, there's nothing in it that's so big that it needs, except for that lady's tits, that would give it a cult following. I mean, maybe it does, but to me it was just very run of the mill movie, so
Right.
there was nothing to give it that cult status.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that's like a big part of its charm, where it didn't go over
Right.
to cult, like where you're like, oh man, you have to watch this.
Yeah, right,
Like this
exactly.
movie is definitely not like oh man, you got to watch this movie. It is one of them movies because it's
Right.
not, you
Right,
know.
exactly. Yeah.
So
I
no,
think
it's
that
not a cult, I
maybe
would say.
Byron is a cult character, but
He's a
this
cult
movie
character,
is
yeah.
not a cult classic to
No,
me.
no, not at all. Yeah, gonna go to the theater and see this motherfucker.
No, I
Nope.
saw it in theaters when it was called House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh man, we are really bringing Rob Zombie onto this one. All
I
right.
am. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go see it in the theater either. All right. Oh, what's your stars?
I'm gonna give it 3. It's very run of the mill.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give it 2.5.
I think
Uh,
that's also fair.
yeah, I enjoy it, but it's not like any movie where it's just like, oh, they put not enough salt in this movie. That's how I feel. Like just a little bit more salt, and it would have been fine, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All
two and a
right. 2.5 stars for you, 3
half.
for me, and that's House of a Thousand Corpses in its original form.